this video, I'm gonna talk about this book, Atomic Habits. I've read only this part, but I wanna make like a series of videos because I wanna digest it. I don't wanna read like half-heartedly. That's why I'm making this video for myself in the future and also for anyone who might need it. The book starts off with the author's backstory, where he had some injury. So in order to get back to his original state, he had to have a lot of discipline and good habits. That's why he became interested in habits. I'm reading using highlighter and also this bookmarking system. When I'm reading, I highlight the sentences that I like and then bookmark them. Afterwards, I pick up my notebook, which I decorated with Studio Ghibli, and write down the things that I highlighted in a more wholesome way, like I can see all of it. I think the system works for me. Aside from this, I'm gonna look at my notes and talk about what I highlighted, what stayed with me, what moved me. The first sentence I wrote is, winners and losers have the same goals. So people who are trying to achieve a goal, and setting a goal is not the most important thing, because, for example, if your goal is to win a race, then you have the same goal as everyone else who are racing. So even if you have the same goal, that doesn't mean that you will win. When we are setting a habit, we think of a goal, but actually the goal is not the most important thing. Even if you don't have a goal, you can have a habit. Instead of goals, systems are more important. For example, if you have the same sloppy habit of not organizing your clothes or organizing your room, if you don't have a system, then you face the problem over and over, and you have to solve the problem over and over, and it makes your happiness go downwards. So you need a system so that you can solve the problem without really facing the problem, without making it a problem. Essentially, good habits are systems. That's what I understood. And the second idea is to have identity-based habits, not outcome-based habits. So, for example, if someone offers you a smoke, if you were a smoker before and if you are trying to quit, if you are outcome-based, then you will say, no thanks, I'm trying to quit. But that is not strong enough. If you are trying to have an identity-based habit, then you should say, no thanks, I'm not a smoker. Then that sets a more like identity-based answer. And identity just means repeated beingness. Like what you do most of the time, that's your identity. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become. You don't need a unanimous vote to win an election. You just need a majority. In terms of the outcome-based and identity-based, outcome-based is like dependent on the outside, and identity is what you are from the inside. So the next idea is the habit loop. So every habit starts with a cue and craving and response and reward. I kept thinking about like addiction, for example, like substance addiction. When you are maybe addicted to weed, for example, then if you see a movie where a person is, smoking weed, or a reel of a weed smoker, then your cue is registered, like, oh yeah, weed is good, and then you start to crave it, and then your response is to find what you need. and then you do it, and for the reward you feel high. And then for other habits also it's the same thing. For good habits also, you have to have a cue, you have to crave it, and you have to respond to your craving, and then you reach the reward. But because good habits don't really have this strong reward or strong craving, we don't do it most of the time. But if we make the cue more like visible, more obvious, like it registers to your brain, I have to do this, then your craving, response, and reward are more likely to occur. So cue and craving is the problem phase, and solution phase is response and reward. This is the habit loop. We're trying to achieve like good habits, right? We're trying to ingrain ourselves with good habits, and the first law is to make it obvious. Basically, make the cue obvious. First, you can have this habit scorecard, like what habits you have, you can list them. It will be useful later. So, pointing and calling. There's a method called pointing and calling. For example, if you are trying to cut back on a cookie, on a sugary cookie, you can say it out loud, point and call. I'm about to eat this cookie, but I don't need it. Eating it will cause me to gain weight and hurt my health. So hearing your bad habits aloud makes the consequences seem more real. So for good habits, you can say, tomorrow I need to go to the post office after lunch. Increases the odds that you'll actually do it. So you can say it out loud. The things that you're gonna do, the things that you're not gonna do, it will affect you more. It's effective because we must use our eyes, hands, mouth, and ears. If we use more mediums, we are more likely to do something that involves those things. Another way is implementation intention. It's a plan you make beforehand about when and where to act. For example, if you say when you're gonna do it, where you're gonna do it, where you're gonna do your habit, then it's more likely to occur. If you say, I'm gonna exercise tomorrow, that's too vague. When are you gonna do it? Where are you gonna do it? It's very ambiguous, so you have to specify when and where so that you are more likely to do it. I think it's like intention, and you actually imagine you're doing it, so it's more likely to occur. Okay, the next thing is habit stacking. Imagine you buy a very nice dress, and then after that you have to buy new shoes to match with it, and then new earrings to match, for example, because the dress is so beautiful, you don't have anything beautiful that will match the dress, so you have to buy new shoes and earrings. Habit stacking goes the same way. You identify a current habit you already do each day, and then stack your new behavior on top. This is called habit stacking. For example, let's say you want to develop the habit of reading more each night. So you can actually wake up, make your bed, and put your book on your pillow, and then take a shower and do your thing. When you are ready to hop on to your bed, you can find your book and you can read like 10-15 minutes, and it's better than nothing, right? It's like forcing you to do something because you are already facing it. So unlike an implementation intention, which specifically states the time and location for a given behavior, habit stacking implicitly has the time and location built into it. So you just go into your bed and you find your book, so you have to read it. So time and location is already set. So that's why habit stacking is very effective. Put your habit that you're gonna do in the most likely place to be successful. Like you put your book on top of your pillow, then is likely to be successful because you promised yourself to read a book before bed and the book is on your bed, so you have to do it. You're more likely to do it. So similar to that, think about your habits. Basically, your habit, what do you call them? Habit scorecard, like you have all of your habits, and think about your new habits, write your new habits, and then stack your new habits into your already built-in habits. That's why habit stacking and habit scorecards are useful to each other. Another interesting thought is your cue should also have the same frequency as your desired habit. I'm thinking about this sentence a bit, like your cue should also have the same frequency. That means like your habits that are already ingrained in you should have the same frequency with your new habit, something like that. I'm actually not really sure about exactly. I mean, I'm sure, but I don't know exactly how to explain it to you. But here's what I wrote down until this point in the book. See you in my next video, part 2 of Atomic Habits by James Clear. Bye! Thank you for watching.